just want it.
Oh, hello. How are you? Oh, I'm fine, thank you. And you?
Hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Kingdom Debrief, where we talk about all the amazing performances this week. We have a bit of a light on crew this week because we've got a couple of people sick. One person who won't be named, Swenson, slept in. So there's only 4 of us at this day. We've got Kirstie from New York, Krysti from Australia, and Trish from Florida. Trish, take it away.
All right. Well, until Swenson gets here, it seems appropriate that we have 4 ladies because this was like Ladies Week on Kingdom. We had all female source material for the performances this week, so that was pretty cool. We got, first we kicked off with finding out the winner of the dance mixed units, and Mayfly won. So they were 3-0 with the mixed units. Then we got the 2 vocal performances with the mixed units. And then we got the first 2 No Limit performances where everybody was back with their normal groups. We got Icon and Stray Kids. So we're going to kind of just do what we do here every week. We're going to start off with funniest moments. Frankie, take it away.
Okay. I thought I was cracking up when It's One didn't win one of their things. Again, I think it was the vocals, or Bobby just went to pack up his stuff to leave.
Yep.
That was one of mine.
It was so funny. It was so funny. And
I think that was actually in response to Chanu last week saying, "Well, if we don't win this, I'm going home."
Oh, was it?
Yeah. So
And
it was right after the
walked over and started packing his bag. That was the funniest shit. And then also P2B, when Stray Kids were performing, there was just they were all getting excited, and the subtitles were saying overly into it and shooting in all directions because Kwang was just losing it. And the usual brains, the young people's brains, and even the young's brains glitching when they decide to talk casually, and then no one actually can talk casually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're like, I don't understand.
Honorific. So that was hilarious.
Even Jinwan saying next week, I'll talk casually next week.
Yeah.
He knows himself. He's like later. Yeah, let's not even try, people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kirstie?
The same thing was for me. Like the very first one I have of my funniest moments was Bobby, because I remember Chanu said, if they don't win, I'm packing and leaving. I'm going home. And that was the first thing Bobby did. He was like, Andre.
Yeah,
He's like, it's time to go, picking up my stuff. Let's go. I was just laughing with him because he was like, well, let's go. So yeah, that was my first one. Also, Jinan. I think how do you pronounce his name? Jinwan.
He
made me laugh.
Now I think his new stage name is Jay.
It's Jay. Yeah, because I always see it says Jay when he comes up on the screen. So yeah. Right. He made me laugh a lot because like I just found it like really cute, but also it was like awkward times, like shy and awkward, especially when they were sitting as a group, like the interview, like that little space, the interview space that they do after they perform, and he was like trying to cheer them up before they go on, and he was like stumbling on his words. He was like spark, what? Like yeah, I just found him very funny, like him trying to like cheer everybody up and being a little awkward and shy about it. I just found him very endearing, but also very funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then also it's another moment is funny but cute as well. Unkwan, every time like he was like the first time he rehearsed with Jongho and Sungmin. And they got it right, and he stood up, and they all stood up, and he was like, "Yay!" And he was grabbing them, and they were jumping around and being all happy. I like that because he did the same thing after they finished singing. He was like, oh my god, and then they jumped down, and he grabbed them, and they started jumping together. It was just really cute, but it made me laugh because it was endearing. So yeah.
I saw Miranda in the chat said it is Jinwan. I think when you Romanize, when you Romanize the name, the H is silent. So
Okay, thank you.
Kirstie?
Okay, besides Unkwang reactions, which just every week is hilarious, my actual funniest moment was the entire Stray Kids performance, because it was hilarious, and I've watched it quite a few times now, and I never fail to end it just laughing out loud, and particularly when Bang Chan comes on, it's kind of not too bad, but then when he does his, it's just hilarious, and I just start laughing out loud. It was
They were having
so funny.
fun.
But yeah, I just love that about both the Stray Kids and the Icon performance was how both of them were just so fun and so themselves.
They have so much fun, don't they?
Yeah,
Mhm.
especially when the JYP speech bubble thing came up, and he went, he pushed it down.
It was comedy. The whole thing was a comedy routine. Yep.
Yeah.
That was great.
Okay, well, I had a few things that I wrote down as just some simple ones. Was when Icon was trying to decide what song they were going to do, and Jin Hyung or Yun Hyung was like, let's do "Rollin" by the Brave Girls, and then DK's like, "Rollin', Rollin'." That was pretty funny.
Can you imagine?
I did
Where they get on the
imagine it, and I was
stools,
like,
if they're
that
on
would have
the
been
stools.
hilarious.
That would have been so cool.
Oh gosh. And then we can't get through an episode without an old guy moment. And it's like, I think it was during the Stray Kids performance when Peniel was like, oh my neck, when he was jamming out, I also thought it was funny when Thuracha was working, and then like Han is just like out on the bench
Sleeping.
behind him, just asleep through the whole thing. And that was pretty funny. Sorry, I had more than two.
And I was going to say when Chan wakes him up and Chan's having a giggle too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they have to put in a ton of hours, and at some point your body just goes, I gotta sleep now, a couple of things that have to do with Icon's performance, but the reactions to it was like when they started out and you see Big Bang at the beginning, and you see all these like panicked looks on people's faces, like, oh my God, did they bring Big Bang in here? And like Taeyang from SF9 was like, I got scared. I was about to go home. and then when Lisa appeared, and like it was about every guy there was just like,
She was amazing too. Oh my God. Stage presence.
So
Stage
cool.
presence.
She's gorgeous and talented, and it was just sort of like, some of the people who are normally just kind of very stoic, like Chani and stuff, and Youngbin, and they were just like, oh, she's so pretty. Oh yeah, G-Dragon would have been an instant win. I agree, Mike.
Most definitely.
Okay, so did you all have any other extra funny moments that you didn't that you had listed that you didn't say before we move on? No? Okay, it was just me. All right, so let's
keep
just
going,
go in.
Trish.
No, that was all I had written. Let's just move into favorite moment, not the favorite performance.
Sorry, I ran over you then, Trish.
Good job.
That's all right. We're doing a little better this week, though. Frankie?
Oh, okay. Look, during Mayfly, when they did Love Poem, Unkwang, the way he was looking at the babies and encouraging them during the performance, I freaking cried through that entire performance.
Yeah.
I cried because he looked so proud, and the way he was looking at them, and also he was mouthing the words as well when he did his part. It was so beautiful. He just looked so proud of them.
Right.
And
Did you I was going to say, did you spot before too? He knew Sungmin was nervous as well. Did you spot that? He could tell, and he was watching him, but he was, it was perfection the way he directed them. Yeah.
And also Jinwon, when they finished all these performances and they were talking about how he just turned to New from the boys and said, I'll cheer you on. And just the way he said it, it was like a big brother, and just saying, just saying that even though we're going to our separate teams now, I'm still going to cheer you on. And then everyone started saying they do it, but he was the first one to say it, and it was beautiful. And look, I got really emo watching this week's show.
Yeah.
It was very endearing.
Gorgeous. Yeah, that's mine.
Okay, Kirstie.
Okay, so I have a couple. One of them was the same team. I call them the Spark team. The Spark team. When they were getting to know each other and they were like in the studio, and I just liked their whole interaction, like them trying to talk casually to each other, and like they couldn't really get it. They were trying so hard. They were like, okay, this is not working out. But I really liked like their dynamic. I thought it was super cute how they were listening to each other, and I loved like the whole recording session with June, and I think his name is New. And he did like the melodies. His voice is so pretty. New's voice. Well, June's voice is incredible as well. Like I really love it. So, but I love together how they sound. I was like, oh, this idea.
Yeah, their voices are so different.
Yeah, but when you heard them together, they just went really well together. I was like, wow, this was so pretty. But yeah, I like their whole dynamic, like them getting to know each other and all that. And like it was just cute. I just found them really cute. I like that. Like when you get to see how they work. And also Unkwang. I loved, like Frankie said, I loved this whole like this dad vibe, big brother vibe he had with them, especially like when they were singing and he was just looking at them, making sure they were okay. Like you could see him even like singing lines, like Frankie said, singing lines that weren't his, but he kept like looking at them and reassuring them like throughout the performance. And I just thought it was just really beautifully like well done, like the execution, how they distributed everything, the harmonies. It was just really, I just really loved it. Like the whole vibe they had. And like I said, it was super cute. Like when they actually like practice and they really got it, like the emotion behind it. It was like, oh my God, we did it. Like, yeah, they're just really cute. I just really loved them.
Yeah. I saw Edna in the chat was talking about she liked when they were at the barbecue place and they were talking about when they were G-Dragon's backup dancers when he was doing cricket promotions. That was pretty cool. Okay, Kirstie.
Okay, so already mentioned by Trish, but one of my favorite things was that we had all female covers this week. I did really like that. The girls, yeah. Okay, next on the list was June's voice. Just
oh my gosh,
yeah.
Yes.
And like I'm already on board with Icon, but I think I got bias wrecked possibly. So
yeah.
Okay,
his voice is very sexy.
I love a husky voice. Oh. Okay, already mentioned too is
she's choked up.
I first saw Rhythm Tar and he came out with his blonde hair and his blue I nearly passed out and it was like instantly biased.
But the song fit him so well, like his tone just went very well with the song.
Yeah.
Yep, it really did. Also already mentioned Icon and Stray Kids, that they had such fun performances and enjoyed themselves, and they were themselves too. And I'm trying to remember who made the comment. Oh, it was Eric from The Boys who said Icon's doing Icon. And and Stray Kids definitely did Stray Kids. So loved that. Yeah. But my absolute favorite thing was, as already mentioned, was Unkwang working with the Mayfi vocal team, and just how he brought out the best in them too. And even I think it was Changbin said to Sungmin, "Your voice is so full. What are you in your mid range?" And so, that Unkwang studied their voices before the arrangement. And he put them in the perfect spots in the arrangement so that they're like the exact, their voices came out perfectly. Yep. Jongho and Sungmin. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loved it. Such beautiful work. Yep.
Yeah. He put in a lot of work in it, like before, like, you saw him like doing, they called it analog when they were putting it on the, a notepad, and it's like, hey, that's how I work too. Okay. So I had a couple things here. When Unkwang said, I became a singer because I wanted to comfort people, I found that very touching, and I liked that. And when Stray Kids were coming out, and like you could tell the performance was going to be, another really powerful performance, and Jihanyan from The Boys lifted up his hair. He's like, I got to see this with both of my eyes. That was pretty funny. then also with Stray Kids, I loved the group's reaction to when Sungmin was singing, and it was it was so emotional. It was like it was one part, yes, he's doing it, and there was like this proud parent sort of thing going on too. It was just they were just so excited, and I found that really touching as well.
Yeah, that was lovely.
And then another thing, I'm evidently going for the emotional stuff this week. We all know that poor In-song had a rough time getting his note. But then when they showed him back in SF9's room, and Hui-young is holding his hand and telling him, it's like comfort him and saying, I admire, it was really cool that you kept on, you didn't stop, even though, it wasn't going the way you wanted it to. And usually you have like the older members of a group comforting the younger members, and this time it was the opposite, because Hui-young is he's part of the matinee line, and In-song's the oldest. So that was, evidently I was all for the emotions this week. Hey, Swenson. Good morning.
Hey.
Hey, let's get Swenson caught up here. We've done funniest moments, and we've done favorite moments, not favorite performances. So do you want to give us your rundown of those?
Oh yeah, I'll just go with the favorite moment real quick, because I was catching up. I had it as my wow moment, but I guess it falls under the favorite category as well. I saw during the MC Max Changmin was announcing the vocal lineups, and then there's this little segment where he wanted people SF9 to vocal lines from SF9, and when 5 of them showed up in picture, and I was like, wait a sec, Taeyang is in vocal line as well. So I searched up a bit on his own music works and stuff. He did a cover on Come Through, and man, he can't sing. So that was one of my wow moments, knowing that Taeyang is also part of the vocal line. And I had Jaeyoon's opening bit for Spark. That was literally mood setting. The second he started singing, I was like, that's right. So that's the favorite. That's the 2 favorite moments that I had.
Okay. Yeah. Did you have some funniest moments too?
Yeah, I do. But like, I would have. You guys would have said that already. I had Bobby being half awake during the whole performance. And then I find it funny because I didn't realize, but rather than it being actually funny, that it took me rounds of watching before I finally realized that Stray Kids had the rice cooker as
the rice cooker.
Yeah, I was like,
the whole thing was hilarious.
I didn't catch that whole thing. I was like, why is there like numbers on the background?
I didn't catch it at first either.
Yeah, so I just find that funny because I didn't catch it the first time.
I only noticed when the subbing came out, and in the reactions they were like, "Is that a rice cooker?" And I was like, "What rice cooker?"
I know.
Exactly. That was
I was the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
One other thing I wanted to just kind of mention too. This kind of goes back to the In-song thing. It was because there were mixed units, and that I feel like that could have gone bad as far as like the fandom stuff goes, and I'm sure there was probably some of that. Although I was really heartened to see a lot of Iconics and Dobbies coming out and saying it's okay, it's no big deal, we know you did your best, and I that was really nice. So I just shout out to Iconics and Debrief. All right, so let's just move into favorite performances. Either, we'll kind of do like we did last week. You can choose to do just kind of your favorite moments from each performance, or you can pick up favorite performance or some mixture of the two. Frankie?
Okay, look, this was too hard. My favorite performance last week, it was so difficult, but I still think I really loved Bobby and the It's One team's rap performance. Don't make me pick between the dance performances because they were just chalk and cheese. How do you pick between two totally different things? This week, I cried all the way through Mayfly's performance with Unkwang.
Yeah.
I just cried. I just started crying during the performance. So I have to put that down as my favorite performance. But I've got a couple of notes just about the two the No Limit, is that what it's called? Yeah.
Yeah.
Performances. I just really loved the way the icon ended with that classic YG party anthem finish.
Yep.
So many of YG songs finish with that party anthem feel at the end. Blackpink always does it. There's always the extra dancers come in. It's every single YG song finishes that way. It was fantastic. Stray Kids, what have I got? Just Felix. My heart was proud Aussie heart. It was proud. Him speaking in his little deep Aussie bogan Aussie accent. It was so aggressive and so full on. I think that might have been out of the Icon and Stray Kids. I think Stray Kids is probably my pick this week. They're both just so amazing, both of them. Lisa was the queen. I was a little bit disappointed that she didn't come and interact with them though. Maybe that's part of it. And I was going to say maybe she can't because she's featured, but then you can see in the next week's episode that people interact. I was really disappointed that Lisa didn't come out and dance in the middle of a live or something. I was
expecting her at the end. Yeah.
If you're going to get her in there, why isn't she part of it? So that was a little bit disappointing. So then that's why I ended up going with Stray Kids.
Yeah, that performance was really YG from beginning to end. Okay, Kirstie.
Okay, I actually made a choice this week.
Hey.
And it was the Mayfly vocal performance. It's just was absolutely spectacular. Obviously, I've already spoken about the Unkwang putting it together, but the actual performance itself, they were just amazing, and it was absolutely gorgeous voices, and they just stood there. And I really liked too that we saw that was Jongo's choice. He says, "Can we be on white podiums with dry ice, smoke?" So like he got his wish. He wanted to be the vocalist, on the white podium with the So, but yeah, it was just spectacular. And I said right at the very beginning, in the first Kingdom debrief, that what I really wanted from Kingdom was some amazing live vocal performances, and I got my wish. It was astonishing.
Yay.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, Swenson.
Surprised to no one, I had Live Poem Stage as my favorite performance as well, because let's just be honest. I felt like as bad as Mnet's got their reputation with, they really know how to put on like a good vocal cover stage. Should I rather say? Because first off, they both performances paid tribute to two legendary female solo artists, but like Love Poem, before seeing this version of Love Poem, my personal favorite of the song was also a trio cover by Ace. So Ace did a vocal cover on Love Poem as well, and that held a very special place in my heart. And then enters Mayfly's version. I teared up, and I was like, if this performance teared me up, it's undeniably the best out of the few performances that I saw. So Love Poem for me, yeah.
Okay, Kirstie.
So wow, surprise, surprise, mine as well. Favorite was love poem. I love ballads. I've said it before. Like I'm all about the vocals. I was looking forward to the vocal line, the performances. They did not disappoint both teens. But yeah, I loved Maybe's rendition of Love Poem. It was just really beautiful. I wrote down three things. I put beautiful vocals, great arrangement and delivery of emotions, and balanced line distribution. I just loved it. The level of professionalism behind the creation of this cover. You could see it like before with Unquan and just him like writing everything down, giving feedback to Jongho and Sungmin, and just how they prepared and all that. You could see the level. It was gonna be awesome. Like while I was watching it, I got goosebumps. I was like, oh, this is a performance. This is you can see the like it was just another level. I was like, like it was just beautiful. So yeah, perfect. But I also enjoyed It's One's performance. I put down the beautiful harmony. The intro was beautiful, like the harmonization was amazing. I really loved how they worked on the harmonies. And when it comes to like voices, I love News and June's voice, and they were just my favorite voices. I was like, oh, every time they came on on the screen, I was like, okay, let me hear this. Like, yeah, I was like, oh my god, yes,
Gorgeous.
they did amazing. Like, I think both groups did super cool. Like, they were just, it was really beautiful. So like, they did great. When it comes to like iKON and Stray Kids, it was fun. Like icons was just icons. It felt very YG. Yes, I loved it. I could feel like not only it was just them, but I feel like they took a little bit from like Big Bang and Blackpink and it made it their own. It just felt very YG, and I just loved it. It was like it was them. I loved like the whole vibe, and it just felt like they were having fun, and they were just like, this is us, this is what we do. And I love like the flags and everything. It just felt very genuine, and it felt like they were having a good time. And I just love that. I just love seeing groups like perform and like fill up the stage with their emotions and just being genuine with it and having fun. Like it was just really cool. And Stray Kids, I wrote down that I loved their narration every time, like Felix and Bantan's narrations. I loved it. It made me laugh, and I love when narration is part of like the performances. I think it brings a lot to like the whole storytelling aspect of a performance, and I think they did very well. Like I love the intro. Felix looks super cool, Felix is super cool. He's super cool. Like to me, he's like super cool.
He's just super cool.
Yeah, he's just super cool. Like I'm like, Felix, hi. And Banchan, he was funny as well. Like I love, like I said, when he pulled down the J.Y.P. bubble one, he was like, okay. I was like, what's going on? Okay. Yeah. So yeah, it was just very them. I love the transition between scenes. The energy, I just really cool. Like the rap line, the vocals, everything was very Stray Kids. I just love like their performance, just like iKON, just seemed very them, and I like that. It just transmits to like the audience. It's just really cool. But yeah,
it's authentic. It's authentic.
Yes, it felt them plus like 1,000. But I love that like when they can like embrace who they are and just give it all.
Yeah, they dialed up the iKON.
Yeah, it was like they just. iKON and Stray Kids, they did great. So yeah.
Good. Okay. All right. So before I get to my favorite one overall, a couple other little things. I also loved June's voice. I just the tone and it's so different from everybody else's, and it's just whew. Anyway. But he and New together, their voices are so different that I loved when they were doing their part. And I also really liked Sangyeon's part. That boy can sing.
Yep.
And then I liked how Stray Kids were able to mix those two songs. They have the do, those kind of, they both have that element to them, and the way they mixed them together was just, I would have never thought of that, but it's really cool. And then, but the vocal performances, Mayfa's, I use Love Poem. I mean, it was perfection. I mean, there was not a single thing wrong with that performance. It was simply stunning. And it's like, I want that on Spotify right now. You know, and I saw someone in the chat earlier, I can't remember if it was now, but they said that even if Ensong had hit his note perfectly, the other team was probably going to win anyway, because it was like, it was that good.
It was perfection.
I mean,
Yep.
yeah, it was perfection. It's like, how do you beat perfection? I mean, even if Ensong had hit his note, which he had in practice, you know, it cracked, and it happens to singers all the time. And it was just an unfortunate timing, but it was like, I really, really loved that whole group performance. I thought they did a great job. It's just, you know, they were just up against perfection this week. So, anyway, those were kind of my favorites. So, any other comments here before we move into our ranty part of the program?
I mean, I've got a little.
Are you mad?
Sorry,
son?
Swenson.
Anyway,
I got carried away. Shut up.
All good. So I've got just a little commentary to make upon, because the way the subtitle team worded the some of the oh gosh, my brain's not working. I had a few of them, especially during the oh wait oh gosh,
he's still asleep.
There's still quite a few moments in this episode where the idols were praised for having a good voice, but I felt like the word was in Korean it says umset, which I think more I think vocal tone is a better word to represent what they were trying to say when Jacob was trying to praise Jaeyoon for having a good voice. What he actually meant was him having a good vocal tone. And again, as I said, the way he started the whole song, his vocal tone was the mood setter. And then same goes to Mayfly's performance. When people say, "Oh, they have a really good voice," they were the Korean version of the subtitle actually said they had a really like soothing vocal tone, and I just felt like it's necessary to point that out.
Yeah, that's good.
And then there we go into the rant mode.
Have Bobby's mad in our heads, but couple of things I wanted to address in this, and then if anybody has any other things, that's okay, cool too. One was, even though the 3 unit performances, you know, the rap and then the dance and then the vocals, you know, everybody has their own opinion about that, and it's understandable why certain votes went certain ways. But I personally found it very disheartening that how lopsided the voting was in every one of these categories. And It's One Team didn't win any of them. It kind of broke down about like in the rap one, the vote was 10 votes for It's One and 23 for Mayfly. And then dance, it was 11 to 22. And then the vocal It's One got no votes. It was 33 to 0. So those first two, it kind of went, it was about 2/3 went to Mayfly in each of those, which I found it was interesting. It's like, do you think, maybe this is just me, but do you think that it was because the judging pool was about 2/3 younger voters, and then who might like that style of rap and dance more than what It's One was doing? Is it just me, or?
I felt like the ratio wise, the rapping bit and the dance segment was rather and they were reflecting quite it is still lopsided, but again, if we take into account that those 33 panelists on, they were probably given little to no time to vote. Like once the performance ended, the production team would have been like, oh, okay, so just give us a name. Like we need it in
Right.
2 minutes. So if we take that into picture, I felt like it's not that hard to, again, to understand why that score turned out to be the way it is, and especially when it comes to the vocal bit again, because obviously we're comparing. I felt bad for calling it a flawed performance, but um, Spark was really in comparison to Love Poem. It is a, I mean, it would have been so much better, and the panelists there would have seen that coming as well. I mean, they would see that it can be improved in such ways. So having a totally like having 33 of them jumping onto Love Poem, I felt like in a way it's understandable given that it's
Yeah.
like an on the spot representation of what they felt. It might have been a bit different had they had a little bit more time to process what they've just saw, but I felt like
I
it's just
think,
different. Yeah.
I think possibly even if the Spark performance had been as good as they could possibly do it, the voting could have still been 33-0 because that Mayfly performance was so incredible. It's more those first two, the rap and the dance, where I mean, and it's fine. It's all personal taste and stuff. It's just I found it interesting that I feel like maybe the styles of those two categories, the two teams, kind of broke down possibly along the kind of the ages of the people who were judging. It was interesting to me that it was 2/3 went to Mayfly's team, which I can see possibly that appealing more to younger voters or viewers or whatever. It was just a thought. So, any other thoughts about like how the voting broke down on these three unit performances?
It was interesting that Mayfly did go second every time, didn't they? And I'm not sure how that got decided, but clearly the performance that's just been being uppermost in your mind, did that affect things? And who decided that Mayfly went second?
I saw that Terry, who's one of my writer friends in the chat, she just made the same point that they went second every time, and it perhaps was not fair because it's like that's the last impression the judges have before they vote. So
True.
it also felt like this one maybe didn't get the message that they could have had more members in each unit. Yeah, we kind of talked about that a little bit last week, where we're all very confused about how the numbers in each unit broke down. It's like how they decided that, because we think that it's the teams themselves decided it, but we don't know how that all shook out because, not great communication on how things are done on this show.
Usually they know by now that it's the spectacle people are after, yet it was the team with the boys in it that chose to just have 3 dancers.
But it's sort of like that performance, though. It was, I mean, I guess you could have had the others sort of serving as backup dancers, but
I don't know, it suited the performance, but they know that spectacle is what wins in this show. And we were discussing it last week. Artsy and subtle doesn't seem to, except the Mayfly performance, but that was still, I guess, the vocals. That was big vocals. So.
Yeah. All right. The other topic was, and again, I want to reiterate that this is unsubstantiated rumor, but I saw it on Twitter this week, and I just kind of wanted everybody's thoughts, and in the chat too, if you all have seen this and want to comment. The rumor that Mnet in flames, that Mnet pressured or threatened, or however you want to say it, certain teams into participating, or their junior groups at their companies might not have gotten certain opportunities to perform on in-net programs or whatever. Again, this is unsubstantiated. This is Twitter rumor. So, there had been the rumor that some of these groups didn't want to participate initially, and then suddenly they were participating because somebody made the observation that I guess, a lot of YG groups had not been on Mnet for a long time, and then suddenly Treasure and I think maybe Blackpink were, or maybe it was Rose, were performing, and this was about the time that we found out that Icon was going to be taking part in Kingdom. So I don't know. Thoughts on this?
Oh, I wouldn't put it past them.
Exactly. But I thought that having, knowing that there's this ongoing beef between YG and Mnet, it sure is a bit of a surprising factor that I kind of take out of this whole situation. And then, I mean, those are like big names in the industry, so I felt like for that to happen, a lot must have they must have went through a lot, both like officially and who knows, maybe under the table. But I mean, it's in the end, it's us, the K-pop fans, that wins because we get to see them on more platforms, and I felt like that's a good that's a good part to take out of this whole situation.
Right.
But the fact that I've seen that rumor, and the fact that it got me thinking on like, oh, okay, it's been years since we last saw Icon or like Winner on any of Mnet's platform. That was a bit frightening as well, because imagine the power that Mnet holds just to decide to not have them on the show, and then we all know what happened because of the 2014 dissing G-Dragon dissing Mama on G-Dragon dissing Mnet on Mama, and I felt like, well, you know what, us as a viewer, we would appreciate to have those kind of like having no filter at all. But I mean, for the Korean culture, it would have been a very different thing, and I can't comment upon that because I'm not culturally one of them. So this was just coming from someone like some international fans, an opinion, and I thought maybe we've been getting a bit of incoming comments as well. So yeah.
I saw where Terry in the chat said, considering how international K-pop fandoms, I don't feel like these groups need Mnet enough to make the rumor worth much. The thing is like I kept thinking a couple things regarding that this week. Is like, at least this show is giving them an opportunity to do big stage productions that, because of the pandemic, they haven't been able to do really a whole lot of over the past year and a half. So it's satisfying for them. And then of course us as viewers. And then I kept thinking, man, in a perfect world, I would love to see a show on some network in Korea called Collaboration. And that's all it was. It was not a competition. There was no voting. It was just simply a weekly show where you had groups that would, do special collaboration stages, which I would love that. So,
especially if there was a little bit of a story beforehand, like they do on Kingdom. Like you actually get to see them interacting and getting to know each other, and then there's the stage. I'd watch that.
Yes, I'd watch that in a hot second.
I think, like, how do I say? If this rumor were to be true, I honestly wouldn't be surprised, because blacklisting is a thing in many industries, and is a thing in South Korea. Just look up, there are people who have spoken about not being able, like idols as well, not being able to perform in certain places. We have like the members of JYJ. You can check them out, how it's taken them a lot of years. Like Junsu, I think it took him and Junsu and Jaejun, they took him like 10 plus years to like get back into like appearing in shows that are broadcasted and things like that. So like there's a lot of blacklisting that goes on everywhere. So if the rumor were to be true, wouldn't surprise me at all. There are things that international fans can do to help groups, but there's so much that we have no access to when it comes to like
Right.
in South Korea. There's things that we don't have access to be able to like push them to the general public. And for many groups, these like networks and these shows that they go on, Inkigayo and Countdown, etc., they're very important when it comes to like the longevity. So like just having the opportunity to like go to certain channels and networks and be on programs really does help them out. It really, really does. I wish international fans would have more access to like help them out, but like there's, like I said, there's things that we cannot do. And so like, how do I say, like these networks are really important. Like you have managers going to networks and just trying to get their kids, like their groups to be even showcased on these music programs on a weekly basis. Like there's a lot of networking that goes on, there's a lot of promoting that goes on just to like get the spot, and lots of times it's just a lot of work. And so yeah, blacklisting is a thing, it's very serious. It could affect like a group's like their not spotlight, but like them being able to like get to a broader audience, or like the Korean South Korean audience to be able to like see them and get to know them, etc., etc. So yeah, I like, I don't, how do I say, I don't see it impossible for them like to be like, okay, then we have to do this, because we have to like, we can't take that opportunity from the Hubeis, from the other people, the other groups that like don't have as much exposure or like opportunities or connections as us.
And
So yeah,
they'd be punished
it's
through no
sad.
fault of their own.
Yeah,
So.
and it's
Exactly.
it's very easy to like just it sounds so bad, but like it's very easy to blackmail, or not easy. How do I say? It's very how do I say this? I would understand if someone would be like pushed against the wall, and like when it comes to like exposure opportunities, because that's everything to these groups. It's so oversaturated. A lot of people say it's so oversaturated. So many groups debut each year, and every opportunity counts for them. Like, it really, really does. So
it's a very cutthroat business.
Yes, and everything is about connections and who do you know and how you get to the person that could get your group in certain programs and things like that. There's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes just to like get them in front of a camera. So blackmailing with exposure and things like that, I wouldn't put past anyone. And
it's interesting.
It's very sad because they should be protected against that type of thing. But it continues to go on. Like when I started K-pop, these were things that were talked about, things that were happening behind the scenes, and so many years later, and still rumored to be happening.
It's interesting you talk about like sort of the networking and the managers working to get people on shows, and it's like this transitions nicely into a plug for tomorrow night's debut episode of Imitation Debrief, because this is happening on that show. So yeah, tomorrow night we'll be live streaming our first episode of Imitation Debrief, which is about the K-drama that's currently airing, that stars a bunch of idols like from UKISS and ATEEZ and SF9 and IOI and there's some others.
It's going to be fun. Boys Republic, my Boys Republic by he's an asshole.
Yeah. Yoonho from ATEEZ has one of the main roles, so that's so exciting. So yeah,
it's giving me Jaehyun vibes in there.
Yeah, but anyway, so before we were. All right, so next week we get the final 4 No Limit performances. And y'all, I just might die because I'm not sure I'm going to survive SF9 doing Taemin's Move and the boys. What is that?
It says SF9 doing fuck off.
The boys doing EXO's Monster.
Oh my
really?
God, that is my favorite EXO single.
I mean, the Monster dance practice is what made me go, yep, this is for me. I'm in this crap for life. Yeah, those two, I'm just like, oh my God, in SF9, they're going to go full sexy doing moves.
Just the clip they showed. I was just
and then just sitting in the dressing room with their midriffs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Just the dressing room shot.
I know.
Crazy. Oh my God.
Anyway, so yeah, I'm sure we're just gonna get blown away next week. So we'll probably be just like sitting here going, I don't know which performance I liked best because they were all freaking awesome.
Yeah, that'll be me again.
Yeah. Yeah. We need a GIF of just all of us doing this. Fans.
Oh man, it looks so
lucky
cool.
it's winter down here, and it's nice and cold at the moment.
Oh yeah, I forget it's like winter there. Oh gosh, but anyway, so any thoughts about next week before we wrap her up?
I'm looking forward to. I think AT is going to be doing Answer. I think someone rumored that as well.
The choreography looked like it in the 2-second thing. It was Answer choreography.
Really like that song, so I'm looking forward to that.
It's my favorite.
But EXO's Monster, that's the one. I'm looking forward to that one.
Did you all? I mean, it's like, okay, the song is great anyway, and then Jiyeon's arms look this big. Just like, oh my God.
What happened?
Yeah. We're gonna die.
We're all just gonna be a puddle of goo here next week.
Okay, does anybody know what the B2B song is they're doing? Has anyone worked that out? What?
It's one of their B-sides. I saw somebody on Twitter mention it. Oh, I forgot what it was. I should have written that down. I'm drawing. Does anybody in the chat know? I can't remember.
Quick chat.
I saw it mentioned somewhere.
Blue. Is that it?
Blue. Okay.
Blue.
I was just you know how that for this upcoming round of voting it's gonna be a bit different as well. So like that
only
25,000 points, and then
groups,
us voting will only be able to cast 2 votes.
Oh yeah.
Makes it harder. How that's gonna turn out,
Blue Moon, yes,
Blue Moon. Okay.
Blue Moon.
Thank you.
Yeah. Great song.
Yeah. So, I'm sure it's just going to be wall to wall awesomeness next week. So, I'm not ready for Young. Are any of us ready? But
someone asked about B2B dancing with a girl group. Yes, they're gonna be dancing with Young from Idol.
Yeah. But
she's gorgeous. Well,
she's really pretty.
Oh yes,
I saw a web drama with her, and Hui Young was the second lead.
Oh yes, I saw that too.
She's really pretty, she sings very beautifully. She has a very cool singing voice. So
cool. Oh, and Chang Sub's hair.
Oh yes,
it looks very interesting.
It was either in Minhyuk or Eunkwang's live.
It was Minhyuk's.
Where he said, somebody asked, whose idea was Chang Sub's hair, and they were like, Chang Sub's.
It was Chang Sub's idea.
I know. It's so funny. It was like, he's been gone for a couple weeks, so he's coming back with a bang. All right. Well, if anybody has nothing else, so we'll just wrap it up.
Yeah, we have to wrap up because we have another show today. It's jam-packed. We have Road to Hagdom actually starting in half an hour. So I need to go get another coffee. But look, thank you, Trish, for hosting today. Thank you for the panelists. And thank you to everyone who subscribed to the channel, because I hit 20,000 subscribers yesterday, and all of you. It's such a thrill being able to live my little dream and have all these shows, and I actually couldn't do it without these amazing panelists and you guys watching in the live. So thank you so much. And what do we got? Okay, people still talking. Yay. Okay. So we've got Road to Hagdom starts in half an hour. We're talking about K R&B groups. And then, as Trish said, tomorrow we're starting a weekly episode of Imitation Debrief. Tomorrow it's on Sunday night or Monday morning. Every week after that, it's going to be on at 11 o'clock, Saturday night or Sunday morning if you're in Australia. So we will be talking all about imitation. Plus, for noobs like me who don't really understand the K-dramas and all the lingo like second lead and all the tropes and this and that, we're actually going to have a K-drama 101 episode of Road to Hagdom where we're going to have some K-drama experts explaining to some K-drama noobs, Swenson and I, all about everything K-drama. So that's something we would love you to join us for. So, we shall see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
안녕.
Bye.